Hello, and welcome to The Point. I'm Neil Stanley. Today we're going to have episode 30, which we will talk about CD promotions using jump rate CDs. CD promotions that use jump rate CDs don't have to compete quite as aggressively with price. Bankers don't want to be in a price war in this environment. Historically, jump-up CDs are very appealing to depositors because the depositors get an option to trade out their old CD rate for a new one as rates rise. They feel good about that. Jump-up CDs require very little technology. We simply give the depositor the option to contact us when they want to change the rate. Jump-up CDs are very intuitive and easy and comfortable for the frontline to sell. That's a good thing. But there are some details that we need to address when we think about jump-up CD offers. CD offers are increasing because interest rates are increasing. The last time we had an increase in rates, it was a slow, methodical ramp up in rates leading into 2019. This time, rates have increased very swiftly, and it's caused depositors to be a bit anxious about locking in to a term. We see today that the October 7th yields are 4.33 for U.S. Treasuries for 3 years. Now, CD rates have not risen anywhere close to that in most cases. So that's a disconnect for the depositor. Should they move now to a higher yield? Is your bank going to raise rates? Are you going to, where are you going to be? How should we manage our money? The FedWatch tool indicates that we will move from the current rate of 3.25 up to 4% at the next Fed meeting, and then at the end of the year we'll be at 4.50 if the Fed funds futures is accurate. Then we will plateau at about 4.75 for the remainder of 2023. So for depositors, they're wondering if they should accept today's CD rates if they're not close to these kinds of levels over the life of their accounts. So that causes us to think about jump-up CDs. I wrote about this in 2016 in an article called Navigating Time Deposit Rate Change Features. When we give a depositor an option, we're giving them the opportunity to improve their situation, and by definition, it challenges the financial institution situation. So we have to be explicit about the number of times they get the option, the index to which they can change to in the future, and what happens if those accounts have maturities and renewals. So today we want to touch each of those and make sure that any disclosures that you make are acceptable to you and clearly understood by the depositor. The number of times the depositor can reset the rate is a big deal. If they only get one time to change the rate, they're going to be cautious about using their one-time option. In many cases, those options go to maturity unused. They expire without use, even as rates rise, because the depositor is never quite sure if they should change the rate or wait for a better deal. Meanwhile, maturity comes closer and closer day by day. The other thing we have to do is clarify what rate they'll be able to jump to. It could be the rate on the original term of the account or the remaining term of the account as it moves towards maturity. So, for example, for the first one, same term, if you bought a 48-month jump-up CD, the rate would be able to be changed to whatever the new 48-month CD is over the life of the account with the jump-up feature. Alternatively, that 48-month CD moves through the various term rate levels, and at some point would be close to a 24-month CD. And so whatever the closest term, if it has only 24 months left on it, we would look at the 24-month as the option that it could be used to jump to, including potentially CD promotional terms that might be out there. Lastly, we need to understand what happens at maturity and renewal. So if we give someone a one-time jump up, we need to understand that it's important to have automatically renewable accounts. We don't recommend that you make these jump up CDs non-renewable. But if you make them renewable, we need to know what happens with the option. Does it terminate at the end of the first term, regardless of utilization? We've told them it's a one-time jump up, but does that end at maturity of the first term? Alternatively, it could be at the first use. So it's a one-time jump up, and if it's not used in the first term, it could be used in the second term, the third term, and so forth. Or in the most advantageous to the depositor, least advantageous to the bank, is that it could be an option that can be used in any of the subsequent renewal periods, whether used or not in a prior term. So it could be a one-time jump up for the first term. If used, that's fine. It could still be used again in a subsequent term. We highly recommend that you consider these options and decide in your management team what you want to do with this approach. So I hope these very specific disclosure items have been helpful to you. We do think that jump up CDs in this environment are beneficial, but we don't want any ambiguity about how it's being used by your team and any confusion which would diminish its impact. So if you have any questions or would like to talk to me about this or other matters, please don't hesitate to set up a time using my link here, calendly.com/Neil-the-CorePoint, to meet with me. It is a pleasure to serve you. I'm thankful that you have joined us for this episode of To the Point, and I hope you join us for future episodes. Until then, make it a great day.